So, what's his name? David Steinberg is very happy with us.
Why?
Aram Yosef,
Shalom Aleichem.
how are you?
Good, Baruch Hashem.
Good to see your beautiful punim.
Oh, Shkoyach, Reb Cordo. Is Rabbi Charlop on yet?
I don't see him.
Sean, we're both sides. Yeah, Sean. So, who do we have of you? Moshe, very nice. Daniel, Yaakov, Mohammed, Peter, Howie, always good to be in touch. How you gentlemen doing? Who?
Good, Baruch Hashem.
Who? How was Gimel Thomas? Yeah, geweldig.
Incredible.
Yeah. gonna try to get finished with cooking over here. And yeah, I told you that Avi is here, right?
How is he?
Good, Baruch Hashem.
How long is he there for?
I don't know, another week or so.
Very nice.
You need a little time away. Just kind of get this thing cooking with Hashem's help. All right, thank you, gentlemen, for showing up. I hope it goes. Oh, there we go. Also, one of you guys could just check. Last time I thought I had, I thought I was live, and I wasn't, and I lost the. Wasn't able to send the meeting, which was like a shame. So if you could, if there's anybody over there, check if I'm going live.
Yeah, Rabbi Charlop.
What's that? Yeah.
Yeah, on Facebook.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you very much. Thank you very kindly. Let us go right to work here. You guys maybe have the thing in front of you. Oh, nice. Yeah, you're kind of like relaxing over there. You painting? Okay. What was
I'm
that?
just reaching for something.
No problem. Okay, great. Okay, let's learn this piece. Beautiful piece. I'm telling you, Tzfas Emes. Ah. I'm telling you, it's kedai to be Jewish for like a lot of reasons. I guess you don't have to be Jewish to learn Tzfas Emes, but wow. Oh, it's like breathing. It's quite like breathing. So, okay, so the piece I sent out was over there with a little check. It's on the second, it's the first column, second one down with a little check on it. It says, Be'inyan me Mariva, Ad Yoshia. Right, so there's an unusual juxtaposition in the Parsha. You guys will be reading Chukas. We already had Chukas. That the Moshe Rabbeinu, the whole situation where he told to talk to the rock, and he hits the rock. Famous story. And then afterwards, there's a story by the Be'er. There's a well that the Jewish people sing a special shira for. And he talks about the juxtaposition, what was the nature of the shir, and he gives a lot of really like big strokes over here for understanding. Moshe Rabbeinu alav hashalom, we're going to go right into it. Moshe Rabbeinu alav hashalom lo nizkar. Now, what's interesting is you kind of when you pick this up right away, where is Moshe Rabbeinu in this shira, right? Why is Moshe Rabbeinu not part of the shira in Parshas Chukas? There's two shiras in the Torah. One is Shiras Hayam, the song that the Jewish people sang at the sea, and one is what's called Shiras Be'er. Right? There it says there are 10 songs. It was different. Devorah is one of the songs. There's a number of shiras that were sang, and the final one is going to be by Mashiach, as is well known. But this shir, this second song, special, like it's a praise of Hashem, but in a lyrical form. So then, it's not mentioned. I want to tell you my personal thinking about why this shira. What's the pshat of this shira, right? Now we all know everybody has the songs that they love. And those songs represent something deep inside of us. So the shira is a very deep expression of our connection to Hashem. So it says, but Moshe Rabbeinu is not mentioned in this particular shira. And the question is, why not? The Isa Misha Osin Lo Nes, somebody, it says that Chazal tell us that somebody, a miracle is done for him, for Omer Shira, and he sings song, B'yadua Shenimchlu Lo Kolavonosav. If a miracle was done for somebody, and then he sings shira, he sings praises like a song to Hashem, then you know for sure that whatever he did wrong, any of errors, any sins that he had were forgiven. So the Tzfas Emes says, well, what does one have to do with the other? What is it? What do you mean a miracle was done for him, and he sang a song, and then he has his errors forgiven? So I just want to tell you, by the way, it's a little bit of an aside, gentlemen. You know, it all depends how you look at things. The famous story about Rabbi Levi Yitzchak, a Bedichah. You know, there was a guy working, oiling the wagon, you know, and with his tefillin on. So you know, one say like, wow, what? Not the way to act, like to have your tefillin on and fix up your wagon. But Rabbi Levi Yitzchak, the lover of Klal Yisrael, he used to say, even when they're putting their tefillin on, even after work, they've got the tefillin on, they're still connected. You guys, you're busy with business. Imam is out there to bring shefa to Klal Yisrael, give tzedakah to Klal Yisrael, and even so, you're tuning in. So I just realized I got to put a little AV in my brain and understand you guys it's beautiful that you're extending yourselves to learn a little Torah. But now, what's the reason? What's all this have to? What does it mean that if a person sings shira after a miracle, he sings song after a miracle, they forgive? But the reason is ki ashira edut sheyesh lo shaychus banes. If a person sings a shira, he sings a song, it means he's connected to that miracle. It means somehow deeply he's connected to what just happened to him. If a miracle happens and he doesn't sing shira, it means something big happened. But if he sings shira, it means something deeply connected. Something happened profoundly within him. In Cain, Nira Khan, Shenise Ba'er, Hayu B'Schusen Shel Yisrael. So therefore, if the Jewish people are singing the shira of the Be'er, again, this was the miracle that happened when they had an enemy who was going to be trying to kill them from the mountains, and then Hashem brought the mountains together and they got killed. So, and we were saved in a miraculous way. We didn't even realize what was happening. But the fact that we sang shira meant that the Jewish people had a certain connection to this miracle. Because if you sing shira, if you have profound thanks, something happens in your person's life, he gets married, he has a child, whatever, and he sings shira. So the idea is, it's obviously, it's because it touches him deeply. It's something really profound going on inside of him. But therefore, this particular miracle had something to do with the Jewish people in particular. Therefore, they sang shira and it was forgiven because it meant, he doesn't explain why they were forgiven. The Tzfas Emes says in many places that wherever a person is, that determines if he has a virus or doesn't have a virus. A virus isn't just the pshat, oh, he did something wrong, he's a bad boy. A virus, the pshat is, where am I? Where am I connected to? So if a person has a virus, so it means he's connected to that spot. That's where he's holding on, right? He looks at things, he eats things, whatever, right? That's where he is. But if he's seeing shira, where he is he's connected to Hashem. He's not connected to his Averis. He's made that distinction that that's not who I am. That's not where I am, right? So that's the idea of tshuva in general. Tshuva is not just like, oh, like I get in a little eraser and, I made a mistake over here, didn't make a bracha, didn't say a bracha, whatever, looked at something. No, it's where are you? Like, where is the person? So therefore, they sang shira, they were forgiven. Moshe Rabbeinu, fascinating thing. Mitzinu shelo nimcha lo alachet shelo omer shira. We don't see that Moshe Rabbeinu, we find that he wasn't forgiven on this chet that he didn't sing shira. For some reason, Moshe Rabbeinu somehow wasn't connected to this shira. And the question is why? What happened to Moshe Rabbeinu that he wasn't connected? Wait, let me just, oh, someone's recording this shir, by the way. Is this shir being recorded? If someone could, yeah, it's being recorded. Yeah, because Menachem Solomon.
Shows that it's being recorded.
Good. Oh, Hashem. So Menachem Solomon Shlita. It was asking if this could be recorded. Okay. Right. So Moshe Rabbeinu isn't forgiven. He's not singing shira over here. So we'll have to see why. Why is Moshe Rabbeinu not connected to this shira and he's connected to the shira by the sea? He's going to say a remarkable shot. Now, I know you guys are out there making a mint, but in the best that you can, just like he says, what was the shot that he spoke, that he's supposed to speak to the rock? He hit the rock. He's going to explain over here like this. And it says, speak to the rock, le'eineihem, in front of their eyes. What do you mean to speak to the rock in front of their eyes? Speak to the rock. What do you mean in front of their eyes? What does that mean? What he wanted to do was that the miracle of the water coming out should be in front of Klal Yisrael. That is to say that the way that the water will come out is because of our merits. It's not going to be any more Moshe Rabbeinu that's pulling out the water. Moshe Rabbeinu we know can pull out the water. The question is, can the merit of the Jewish people pull out the water? Can we connect on a higher level, on a level of miracle? Like it says, like it says, gather the people and I'll give water. And it says over there, it says, as the Tzfas Emes says, B'daik, Loshen Nukva. It says it in a female language. Female language always means the weaker part of what's going on. And the Jewish people are like the weaker part. Moshe Rabbeinu is like the male. He has a certain energy, right? And the Jewish people are considered the female. And therefore, the question was, could Moshe Rabbeinu perform a connection that he could somehow get water from the rock, not from his schus, not in his merit, but in the merit of the Jewish people? Really, the Jewish people and Moshe Rabbeinu were on two different levels, essentially. Moshe Rabbeinu essentially was on miracle level. We're essentially not on miracle level. The question is, could Moshe Rabbeinu connect us to that miracle level? Could he bring us up? Or, as we'll see, could he bring himself down to where we were? So he says, Avo b'nei Yisrael, lo nimshechu acher anhaga asa. We couldn't live, we weren't connected to Moshe Rabbeinu's high level. Shehizchil ata hador shel bayaret, because remember, we're going now a new generation. So the new generation is not just a question of new people. It's a question of a new connection with Hashem. It's going to be a new relationship with Hashem. Achein, im Moshe Rabbeinu haya yochol la'avato atzmo lanhaga shaya nitzrach lehem. Had Moshe Rabbeinu been able to say, up till now, we're living totally on a miracle level. And now I'm going to lower myself, so to speak. I'm going to live on their level. It's going to be a different reality, and I'm giving up my miracle state. I'm giving up this idea of total connection to Hashem. It's almost like Rabbi Shimon, having coming out of the cave, where he's going to be connected to the Jewish people. The question is, can he do that? Excellent. Okay. I want to tell you, I just want to give my Rebbe some credit for this year, because we're moving, like we're in the middle of moving. The fact that we're taking a few minutes to learn some Torah is totally in her credit.
Thank you, Rebbetzin.
Sure, I'm learning also.
Okay.
And I had help, so I'm fine.
Okay. I just send you credit card numbers and checks to the Charlop Moving Fund. Okay, whatever. We'll give there'll be something on the screen that'll right at the end of this year. You'll be know where to send your hard-earned money. Okay. However, so Moshe Rabbeinu could have lowered himself to the level of the Jewish people that are now going into the land. Haya yochel levo Eretz Israel. Moshe Rabbeinu couldn't go to the land according to the Tzfas Emes because he was holding on a level that he essentially wasn't connected to the land. The Jewish people were connected because we were on a much lower level. So we are in a reality that is going to connect to the job that we're supposed to be doing. But Moshe Rabbeinu was not really on that level. And therefore, for him to come to the land, he's going to have to give up, so to speak, of his reality. But the fact that Moshe Rabbeinu didn't do that means he couldn't do that. He wasn't connected to that level. Now this gets very deep. This is beautiful, deep stuff that the Tzfas Emes tells us. When we talk about in our learning, there's something called the klal and a prat. There's a klal and a prat and a prat and klal. Without getting into, you have a general rule and it's something specific. And it's something specific and a general rule. I'm not getting in how that works, but he's using it in a certain way over here. Pirish. Sheish tzadikim gedolim Moshe Rabbeinu olav shalom. There are the huge tzadikim, al kulam, and Moshe Rabbeinu was the top of them. You have Rabbi Shimon, and you have the Baal Shem, and you have the big Radia Rizal, the big, like the huge tzaddikim, right? Some would say the Lubavitcher Rebbe, someone would say Rabbi Nach. It doesn't make, it's not important, right? The idea is that there's huge tzaddikim, and they bring the Jewish people with them. They're high madrega. They're like this intense, vacuum, and they pull us into them, right? They bring us up. The Yetz Tzadikim Shezachus HaTzibur Mesiyosim. There's another sort of tzaddik that the tzibur helps them. Who prat at tzarich l'chal, but he's the individual that's going to need for the Jewish people. But there's two types of tzaddikim. The tzaddikim that like have the power and we go after them, and there are the tzaddikim that are like not as strong. They're great tzaddikim, but they go after the Jewish people. Because mitzinu sha'omer Moshe Rabbeinu olav shalom al Yeshua. That's what Moshe Rabbeinu told Yeshua. Sheyeda lahaloch neged kol rucho shel kol echad. That's why Moshe Rabbeinu it's never told by Moshe Rabbeinu that he has to understand every individual. But by Yeshua, it said he should ever understand every individual. Why, says the Tzfas Emes? Because the nature of Yeshua's connection to the Jewish people was not going to be like Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu was going to be a giant, and everybody's going to be pulled after him. But Yeshua is going to go the other way. Yeshua is going to have to go down to the people and live in their reality, right? So, and we know there are different types of tzaddikim that live in either in the reality down here, or we go up, we're pulled up to them, like almost like a magnet. I'm sorry. That's lower than the Moshe is not that high. It's not that level. Fine. And now he puts together a little bit more of the story. Moshe Rabbeinu tells the Jewish people a remarkably, challenging, not challenging, like almost disturbing thing. He tells the Jewish people, and he says this, he tells the Jewish people, he says, you are teaching your teachers. You're the ones in charge, right? You think you're the ones in charge. The words are shocking. When you read the Chumash, and you read Hamores Mareim, they teach their teachers, like, you decide what you want. But he was revealing, according to the Tzfas Emes, it's just an incredible lesson in the Tzfas Emes. He was telling him that you telling your leaders is the second type of relationship that the Jewish people are going to have with its leaders. And really what's going to be happening now is you're going to be on a lower level, and Yeshua is going to go after you, as opposed to what we were doing in the midbar this whole time, that you were going after me, right? But that's what he was telling them. Let's skip the brackets over here. It's a beautiful point, but let's skip it. Yep. Just 1 second, gentlemen. Just 1 second. Okay. So the Tzfas Emes doesn't say why, but he says that Moshe Rabbeinu could not go down in his Madrega. Moshe Rabbeinu had a reality of miracle. That was his reality, and he couldn't come down. Therefore he was makpi. Why didn't you come up to my level? But the bunch wanted, no, we're going to have a new relationship now. There's going to be a new reality. He said, you were not Makadish me in front of the Jewish people. Which means, I'm going to have to finish up soon, which means there is a certain Kiddush Hashem that happens when we bring down the Kedusha into this world. For example, there's a famous story by the Gra that he asked once to build the Dubna Magid to give him Moser. And the Dubna Magid didn't want to give the Gaon Moser. So he said, no, the Gaon told me he had to give, he says, you know why you can do what you do? Because you're in your room. But if you had to go out into that marketplace, you wouldn't have been the Gaon. And there's different Girsos and what the Gaon responded. One response I once heard from Aaron Feldman was that it smells out there. Of course I can't be. Like, why would I go out there? There's another response that the Bible says in general that he was like, he kind of cried, which means we have a certain reality. In this Ikvus of the Mashiach, we're in a very low madrega compared to a lot of the spiritual giants of the past generations. That we have a job that no other generation can do. And that parallel, I'm just going to speak out to the Tzfas Emes, and I'm going to hold it up. That's the Tzfas Emes is saying that there's two levels that goes on with the Jewish people. We have our leaders, and we're pulled after them if they're the greatest of the greatest. But mostly they pull after us. And being in the midbar was the reality of total immersion in a world of sanctity, in a world of kedusha, and going into the land was a new reality of bringing kedusha even into the physical. And that was the challenge of Moshe Rabbeinu. Could he do that? The reason that we sang the Shira and Moshe Rabbeinu didn't was because a miracle happened because of us. And this was connected to us. It was a smaller miracle. Smaller miracles means a smaller madrigas, means a smaller level, spiritual level. And the fact that we were connected to that smaller spiritual level, that was something that Moshe Rabbeinu understood. I don't know if he understood, whatever. Moshe Rabbeinu wasn't able, or he couldn't, or he didn't, was above all of this. So there's a certain sort of song that we can sing, and a certain understanding and connection that we can have that nobody else can have, the mindset that's unusual, that's unique to the Jewish people. And therefore, when we come to this parsha, when we want to about hitting the rock, whatever, you're going to see a number of times as you read it, it's always in front of their eyes. And, you didn't sanctify me in front of the Jewish people. It's always going to be, can you make the miracle come down to their level? Understand that they also have great schusim. Can you live and help them grow and be who they can be on their lower level, and know that that's what Hashem wants on their level. He doesn't want them to be living a miraculous life. Yes, Daniel.
I'm reading this. I'm not reading. I just finished this book about the Arizal, the life of the Arizal. It's a translation of it's called Shivchei Ari or something. And there's a story in there that talks about this one Jew who went to shul on Shabbos. It was like the first time went to shul or something to that effect. And he heard the drasha by the rabbi who said, started talking about the lechem apanim and how sweet it was. And it was like the greatest, korban for Hashem. So he came home. He's like, okay, he told his wife, you have to make the best challahs. We're going to buy the best everything. And like every week they spend their entire week and focus like all their money and the whole week on making these 2 challahs. And he left them in the aron at the shul, and the shamash took them, and he didn't realize. But he came back and saw that they were gone. He thought Hashem took them, and he did this week after week, and until like one week he came in to put them there, and he was saying Hashem take whatever. He was like talking, and the rabbi was there preparing for the drasha, and he overheard him. And the rabbi just like blasted him and said, oh my, what are you doing? Are you're nuts? You're whatever, something to that effect. Like what are you doing? It's good. You're making the shul dirty, whatever, something to that effect. And he's like, no, what are you talking about? Hashem takes them every week. He's like, these are the korbanos for Hashem, and he's like, no, they're not. The shamash takes them every week. So he calls the shamash over. Shamash says, yeah, I take them, and he was just like devastated. And like right at that point, the Ari was like learning or something, and the Ari I think told Reb Chaim Vital, there's one of his talmidim. He said, stop what you're doing. I need you to go to the rabbi of the shul and tell him that he should say his last words and get his affairs in order, because tomorrow at the time of his drasha, before his drasha, he's gonna die. So he goes and tells him that, and the rabbi turns white. He knows who Reb Chaim Vital, he knows who the Ari is. He's like, runs over to the Ari. He's like, what did I do? And the Ari tells me, he says, since the karbanos were actually given to Hashem, there has never been anything more pleasurable to Hashem than this guy giving these 2 pieces of bread, these 2 challahs every single week. And you've taken that away, and there's no way to rectify that. And whatever, the rabbi understood. But I mean, I think it's like exactly to your point, is that you don't have to, like, this guy was, the Arizal himself was basically saying, this guy's a bigger tzaddik than I am and has a better connection to Hashem than I do, and I think that's, I think that just kind of...
right, beautiful. I agree. Point. And I think our challenge, to this generation is not looking at certain things. And when we don't look at certain things, the Bayern gets crazy nachas. Crazy, total, like insane nachas, because we know how crazy hard it is. So, anyway,
right,
gentlemen, I'm going to just do the shir a little bit shorter today. I gotta go. I'm glad. Thank you very much for joining, and thank you. Today we got to learn, whatever. think that's a big scoop. I know, listen, you guys also, it's the same thing. It's like, what the fact that we do this and we take our time, a little bit of time, precious time, shit for learning Torah, I think that's Hashem gets a lot of nachas.
Right. It's like
Right.
everything that we struggle with, that we can work on. Hashem is, yeah.
This generation, Mama, she's giving us big hugs. Okay,
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Hatzlach on your move. Everything should go well and sweet.
amen. So Thursday should be regular. Thursday should be regular. Oh Hashem, we're. Let's go. Cordo says hello.
Was it Avi?
Obviously.
I'm gonna say hi.
Okay, very good. Rabosai, thank you very
Take care,
much.
buddy.
Okay.
Bye.